Being a woman is a little, even now, is a little tough, and this industry is male dominated. We cannot run away from the fact. A woman, when you judge a woman's character, it makes you very comfortable because that's what you're used to doing. Because the only weapon you have against a woman who is out there and who's doing her job is character assassination. Hi, this is Kanika, and you're watching my interview on peepingmoon.com.
It's not every day that we look beyond the success of a film, of a star, of an actor. We often ignore the fact that who actually writes those characters. वो कैरेक्टर्स जो आप सबको बहुत पसंद आते हैं, वो कहानियाँ जो आप अपने साथ घर लेकर जाते हैं. और ऐसा बहुत बार होता है कि हम थिएटर से निकल के तारीफ़ तो बहुत करते हैं, पर हम भूल जाते हैं कि वो कहानी हमारे तक लेकर कौन आया था. Today in the episode of Let's Talk with Ankita for Peeping Moon, we have none other than Kanika Dhillon. At the moment, I would say, as we call man of the moment, I would say no, woman of the moment, particularly ruling the charts with the Netflix top billing in her name. There's so much more, and there is so much more to the story you guys don't know, and we are going to hear it today from her. Hi, Kanika.
Hi, Ankita.
How are you?
Pleasure to be here. I'm good.
Kanika, for the starters, I don't know how many people out there are aware of it. Amritsar to Bombay, and especially with the fact that no filmy background, as of I'm aware of, like you come from a family of academics, and your father, I think, and my mother both were very clear that the girls should be like highly educated and they should be first taking care of themselves. वहाँ से बॉम्बे कैसे अकेले एक मतलब ये कौन सी बगावत थी?
बगावत नहीं थी, चाहत थी. In the sense कि yeah, like you rightly said, that my parents were very keen कि एक you should be well qualified, well educated, and my elder sister is from Sri Ram College of Commerce, then FMS. I've studied in Stephens, Xavier's, then London School of Economics. Brother is also Stephens, London School of Economics. So हमने उनकी चाहत पूरी कर दी. But उसके बाद it's just that I wanted to do, I wanted to tell stories, I wanted to make movies. तो education ख़त्म करके अपनी LSC से masters ख़त्म करके I told my parents that I'd like to, before I jump into this world of this corporate world, placement मिल जाती है LSC में before you kind of pass out. So before I was like, literally I remember I was handing in my passport, for usually वो क्या करते हैं जब वो आपको नौकरी देते हैं उस टाइम पे, तो वो बोलते हैं अब आपका वीज़ा लगवा देंगे हम. Now that is a great thing for somebody who's just passing out. There's a company who's saying come, we'll give you a visa, 2 years working visa and all that. It's excitement, and I was dreading it. I was like, अब ये ठप्पा लग गया तो 2 साल मैं इधर ही हूँ. मतलब बॉस, आई कांट गो बैक टू बॉम्बे और लाइक इवन ट्राई आउट व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. सो जैसे जैसे वो दिन आ रहा था पास अपना पासपोर्ट हैंड इन करने का कंपनी के HR को, वैसे वैसे मुझे पैल्पिटेशंस हो रहे थे कि क्या करूँ. एंड देन आई ऑल्सो देयर वाज दिस होल पीयर प्रेशर ऑफ एवरीबडी सेलिब्रेटिंग, ओ माय गॉड, यू गॉट सच अ ग्रेट जॉब ऑफर, दे आर गिविंग यू अ वीजा. एंड द मोर सेलिब्रेशंस दे वर डूइंग, द मोर आई वाज लाइक, हाउ डू आई इवन टेल देम दैट आई थिंक आई वांट टू लाइक जस्ट chill, I want to like take time out. And also हमारे like in our environment, sabbaticals and taking time out is not something that one kind of celebrates. It's not, people are not encouraging it. लगता है कि क्या पागल हो क्या, 1 साल क्या करोगे. So then I thought अभी क्या किया जाए, कैसे होगा ये. So then I thought, then I like decided कि चलो मैं ना एक ऐसे I just go for 1-2 months before I kind of hang my boots and say London it is, and then I'll come back. So I reached Bombay, and 1-2 months I kind of, वो कीड़ा तो था ही कि अच्छा, I want to just see कि कैसे होता है, क्या होता है. Let me utilize these 2 months to just intern somewhere. पीछे जॉब तो लगी हुई है, नौकरी तो है ही, और वीज़ा भी मिल रहा है. एंड घर में everybody is really happy that झंडे गाड़ दिए, सब हो गया. तो इधर मैं फ़ोन करके, आई स्टिल रिमेंबर, आई स्पोक टू बॉबी चावला, Red Chilies mein, hello sir, I want to meet you and all that. And cold calling, absolute cold calling. आपका confidence भी देखो किस level पे होता है उस time पे. When you're young, in that the confidence of youth is stupid and brave and amazing. So I'm like, so I want to come and meet you and this and that. So he's telling me, aren't you overqualified to kind of do anything here? So and I'm like, sir, but are you not going to meet me because I'm overqualified? That is. So he started laughing, and thankfully by that time I'd already had a publication. Like I had got a little book anthology of short stories published by an organization called Katha, which is about centered around women-centric stories in the rural areas. So I took that along with me. एंड आई सेड दैट देखो मुझे कहानियाँ बहुत पसंद है, मैं कहानियाँ लिखती हूँ एंड आई वांट टू जस्ट एक्सपीरियंस दिस होल एनवायरनमेंट कि हाउ स्टोरीज आर मेड. And now I'm obviously doing this double crossing my parents that side, because they're like, oh, she's in London preparing, and here I'm like kahaniya and this world. So literally for those 2-3 months I was leading a double life of yes I'm going and yes I'm going to do that, but the pull to do this was like totally overwhelming. And then of course I had to bite the bullet and I had to pick up the phone and I had to tell them that look, I'm leaving that big job and big pay package and everything to intern here. So obviously when I told them this, they thought that I've lost my marbles. And they're like, you're literally like in what zone are you in right now? So then my father told my mother, maybe she's lost the plot because हमने उसको ज़्यादा ही push कर दिया, पढ़ो 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 तो बच्चे पागल हो जाते हैं. तो I'm like, but I'm not crazy. I just want to try this out. So thankfully my parents, like, of course if they'd really been like, nothing doing, maybe I would have not been able to push through, but I'm also stubborn in that sense. I can also be stubborn. So there was a mutual kind of stubbornness. We were all like kind of gauging each other, who is going to go that far. But it worked out in the sense that I kind of put my foot down that it's okay, I'll go back. If it does, just give me like 6 to 7 months. If I don't figure it out here, I'll go back.
So what started as like as an AD वाला job at Red Chilies, वहाँ से writing stories, how did you land your like first gig per se?
Yeah, actually, I was very clear that I wanted to write stories and I wanted to write films. So I started off as an AD because I wanted to understand what this world is. Because I didn't go to a film school.
Of course.
So my common sense told me that I need to understand how this medium works and how films are made, and then probably I'll be able to do it in a better, more informed manner. I'll be able to structure my stories. I just need to know the medium a little more. That's why I thought I will work with a few directors and be an AD and understand how films are made, see the scenario behind the scenes, etc. And then put pen to paper. So hence I started being an AD, and I started with being an AD, and then I worked my way up, took on more responsibility, worked with Farah ma'am and Aziz sir and lots of other directors. To begin with, I also assisted on ad films. Oh. So it was a great learning period for me. Great fun. And then while I was working in Red Chilies, I got an opportunity because as an AD, you also tend to, coordinate with the writers,
of course,
a lot. So I was also keenly taking in that process, and I would be responsible for the script. I would be responsible for liaisoning between the director and the writer. So that's where I was, really grasping a lot of stuff as well. And that's how I got a break also. I started, when I would see a writer write their scenes, I would write my scene on the side. How would I do it? And how would I do it differently, and this and that and the other. So, like that, till a point arrived where I was like, okay, enough now. I don't want to be an AD, or, now I know enough, and now I'm itching to now write my own story. So that's when Manmarziyan happened, where by the time I kind of left all the gigs that I was doing, and I took a break, and then I wrote the film, and then I went out to kind of find a team and a director who would partner with me. And
But the
tell
journey till Man Marziyan was not as easy as well. Like, for the people who don't know, you have 3 books to your credit. There were a couple of TV shows also you wrote in between.
Yes.
What was that phase like, Anika, when you are in Mumbai? You know what you want to become. You might be working with a production house and you're learning the good things and all that. But deep down, 6 months ka time to parents se khatam ho gaya.
हो गया था, हाँ.
How does that insecurity for a young girl who happens to have left a high profile job to choose a field which is very unheard of? Script writing and storytelling is not one of the most glamorized sections. I don't think we have even spoken about it for the longest period of time. It is just the young generation, a couple of writers we now give the acknowledgement and we have a name to the face, as we call it. What was it for you? How was Bombay for you then? Because it can be brutal.
Well, it was very scary. There was a long struggle. Of course, the biggest thing that one had to fight was that insecurity of not being able to make it and not being good enough. Also, because there is no structure or in every other profession, like if you want to be a director, you can be an AD and you can go rise up the ranks. As a writer, and production also, but as a writer, it's very fluid. There is no structure that one can follow. There is no yardstick. There is no formal way to kind of make your way
into the writing or
in
into
the
the
writing
story.
world. So as a struggling writer, like somebody who has aspirations to write a film, like all the other youngsters, I also was clueless, and I didn't know should I assist a senior writer, but then which senior writer should I assist? Like also because I mean, one would only see directors. Like you're saying, there's a name to a face. One would not really see these writers that one can approach and say that, can I work with you?
Yeah.
Can I? So it's very haphazard, and then I realized that there is the only way to figure out how to do this is that I'll have to make my own way, because if I have chosen to be in this industry, which is where I want to be, and I have writing aspirations, I'm not going to be disheartened with the chaos in it. Perhaps I'm going to find my way through that chaos. And literally, like, that is why I decided I'm not going to depend on what opportunities are going to come my way. I'll have to make my own opportunities. And was I confident that it's going to work? No, not really. Did I have misgivings of, I'm just going to be struggling and it's not really going to happen? Because every second person has a story that they want to tell.
Exactly.
So, what are the chances that it is going to, I'm going to land in the place that I want to? And second is also, I realized financial thing to it, that, when you're living away from home in an expensive city like Mumbai, there's something called rent and bills. And if you don't want to be supported by your parents, then what does one do? You need to do another job. You need to take up another job. So actually the path to be a writer is difficult, because there is a lot of what should I say? The commitment to that goal has to be completely 100%, because the path is not easy. So you sometimes have to do 2 to 3 jobs on the side.
And it's difficult while focusing on a story. You
have
also
to,
have to
yes,
put the roof over your head as well.
Absolutely. And thankfully, I got lucky, because I had a sister who shifted base to Mumbai, and then we started living together in an apartment. So the financial burden on me to kind of pay the rent reduced a little bit, which gave me a little bit of freedom to focus on my writing. And but it is there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of struggle, and also being a woman, I don't talk about it that much, because I'd rather focus on the good parts of it and the more empowering parts of it. But lately I guess I realized that it's important to talk about that also, because a lot of young assistants now that I work with, and I make it a point to be very open and approachable to young writers who want to kind of do an internship, or who want to just understand what it is. I am very approachable, because when I was struggling, I had no one that I could kind of reach out to. So in my way, this is the way that I like to give back to because I feel that a few of us who do have a face and a name and a voice today are lucky, because there's so many other talented kids out there who've not perhaps gotten that platform. So one needs to kind of extend themselves in that manner. So so when I sit with these kids, these girls and boys, especially the girls, I realize that it is tough. It is, being a woman is a little, even now, is a little tough. And this industry is male dominated. We cannot run away from the fact. And the only way that I can be of help is then talk about it, that, how did I deal with it? It's okay, it happens. But
And maybe
we
help
have to
somebody else navigate the tough
through,
process.
how to deal with it. So before Man Marziyan, like, it was a thing of how to pay your rent. It was, will I ever be able to make it? Is anyone going to take me seriously enough? Of course, being a woman, it was, even as an AD, there was a lot of, on the set, there was a lot of gender politics at play. And of course, the sexual harassment comes with the territory. I just feel that all the women in the industry, especially the ADs, especially they are such, whoever's surviving here, I think they are totally boss ladies, because at the ground level, you have to be 10 times smarter than the boys. And I'm saying it really open. You have to be 10 times smarter than the boys. You have to take 10 times more the bullshit. You are judged 10 times more than them. And yet you're standing there every day, getting up the next day, going to work. So I have tremendous respect for all the women in any department working in the film industry, be it young writers, be it assistant directors, be it editors, be it camera assistants, be it set designers, because I've interacted with all of them while I was on a set. I think they're all boss ladies to just be here and say that, no, I'm going to make a career here, firstly. So that is a pat on the back. And now lately, of course, there are a lot of women who are coming, who are taking up the HOD positions. I see DOPs, I see production designers, and I'm so happy. More and more directors. So there is, of course, you have to work harder, but you are a stronger gender. I also feel that. So we don't have the time to feel bad about this. There is no time to let it just make you stronger, and I feel sometimes when you're feeling a lot of anger, channelize it into, the only answer is to succeed. The only answer to this sometimes helplessness, rage, or this kind of an environment which you feel that sometimes what does one do? The only answer is to succeed in what you're doing, and the only way to do that is to be at it. Get up the next day and go to work, and that's that. So,
Kanika, not many people talk about it, and I don't know if I should be either. You also stayed in news for the longest time for your personal life, which is unfortunately the part and parcel of industry we stay in. Be it when you were separating, be it when you wrote judgmental post your father, and you always credit that it came from a space of grief post your father's demise. How was that tough period where the media scrutiny puts you first, but not acknowledging your craft again? Because this is what I really want to talk about. We actually end up making everything a discussion fodder, but not realizing that it's the craft the only person wants to talk about is right now that. How do you deal that? Because you're not actors. You are the creative minds who give those stories to the actors. How difficult it becomes when you come under the harsh lights.
So basically, there are double standards, be it at workplace, be it personally, even in a household setup, you do know that we live in a largely patriarchal society.
Yes.
And women have to deal with the double standards that are there. I'm not saying that we're okay with it, but they exist. Now, I consider myself to be a privileged woman. I am educated, I have the agency of choice, I make my own decisions, I have chosen to be in an industry on my own terms. So this is a privilege, because a lot of many more talented women don't even have that privilege, to choose. So I am aware of that privilege, but I also know that I cannot turn around and say that, this double standard doesn't exist for me. Even for a privileged or a non-privileged woman, that double standard exists, right? So when it comes to the media scrutiny, you know, being a woman, be it this narrative of कि अगर आदमी ने कुछ गलत किया है तो the woman has instigated. Be it the narrative of the woman only was leading him to the wrong path. Be it the narrative of the woman only must have done something too. We as an Indian society are obsessed with it, and unfortunately the media is also being a part of that society and not being aware that, you know, the lens that you will put, you have the power to change that narrative at every step of my journey. And I think I speak for all women here, and acknowledging the fact that I have it in fact easier than the rest.
Of course.
Every step, what this double standard has been there, be it at the time of the release of my film, be it even lately me being given a top billing by Netflix. You know, the fact that I have done a body of work in a span of time was completely disregarded. Now tell me, if it was a male writer who had written Haseen Dilruba and Netflix had given top billing to a male writer, please tell me would anyone get up and say, oh, but hey, wait, let me see who's this male writer married to? Would you ever do that?
No, but I remember even in the Netflix case this happened, that
But
I know.
just because, and okay, firstly, you did not even bother to see that I'm also the co-producer of that film.
Exactly.
You have your lens of patriarchy and your double standards are so deep that you have chosen to ignore that I am the co-producer of that film. Instead of अगर ताना मारना था तो ये मारते कि अरे Netflix and top billing day because she's also the co-producer. I would have loved to answer that. But strangely, you went from top billing day because you're married to someone. Then what are you trying to say? You're trying to say to all the girls that are coming to the industry that, look, when you come here, start looking for a boyfriend or a husband who can get you somewhere. Now that is preposterous. I was fuming because this is the insinuation that you're
And
giving.
it happened twice. It just happened at the first separation, and when you married Himanshu, everything, the narrative was just being
The
spun
narrative,
around for.
it's I think we love to kind of, we love to make penalize a woman, and you know, we have this whole complex of you know, judging a woman. We love to do that because that gives us a comfort zone. Basically, I'll tell you something, you know, a woman, when you judge a woman's character, it makes you very comfortable because that's what you're used to doing. Because the only weapon you have against a woman who is out there and who's doing her job is character assassination.
Exactly.
And what else will you do? What else will you do? You know, the other day I read a very nice post by another screenwriter, Atika, you know, about
The
slut
I
shaming. And she
remember.
said that, you know, you can continue. Because, you know, that's true. I will tell you today, Ankita, 70% of the people, when a woman is doing well, men and women around that woman is going to say, Arey, she must be sleeping her way through. Arey, she must be, how is it that she's getting so many films, and how is this? Not because she's educated, because she's talented, because she's hardworking. I work out of, if you've got 24 hours a day, I work literally 20 hours a day because I am a workaholic.
And
There
you
is-
had to even extra because, as we discussed in the beginning, nobody's backing you. And a
I
surname
know,
is
I don't
anyhow
come
not
going
going to
I don't
back
come from
you.
a camp. I don't come from you know,
Nobody's
a
putting
family.
money on you.
I don't, exactly. I'm here because I'll tell you, I'm here because I work 20 hours a day. I am a workaholic. I work very, very hard. As a writer, and I also now, you know, give a lot of my time in producing my films. So all this comes from sheer hard work. And how can you? And I'll also say, how long are you going to deny a woman her talent, and how long will you
Exactly.
deny it? You can't. I mean, it is impossible, and also we won't let you. It's not that I'm me or
And
a
it's
lot
not
of
just
women
you.
like
This
me
is a very
are-
common story.
Absolutely. I mean, and also, you know, my problem is also with not just the men who have this easy way out of
I also
character
have a problem with
assassinating.
the women who
I have a bigger problem with the women.
because they partake in this.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the reason why we are in this situation is because because of the women, actually. Because firstly, you're not only shielding them, you're also adding fuel to it.
And the jealousy is being fueled in a manner that you
it's an old game that these
we're still in that rut. We are not ready to move on.
woman against woman is an old game played, and it's still being played out because the women are participating in it.
Somebody has to stop.
You
And
know,
yeah, and if somebody
it
is
is-
raising a voice, then people will say ki bartan to
Absolutely. Even when this dig was made against me about top billing because of a man, I was surprised that a few women were like, "Arey, he's just joked," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Are you telling me that this is a joke that one should?" I mean, that is why.
And that was a proud moment because, like, very few writers, Varun, Atika, there are very few out there for that matter, जिनका नाम लोगों को पता है and people recognize them. And now when we are going to take away that just because a gender plays the part, it becomes
then
really
you're foolish.
toxic.
No, it is foolish. It's sheer foolishness and stupidity. Because if you're not going to, like, if a writer's got a top billing, one should be happy that this is a precedence, and now all of us can negotiate instead of saying, "Oh, woman, oh, you're just being stupid."
I agree, because I was more happy when I read from Bhavani Iyer that she wrote Black at that time. Acknowledge that she was a part of that script instead of just calling it a one-man, one-dimensional film. I'm glad that we finally are giving the credit to the unknown, unseen faces.
But I'll tell you something, I have these discussions with a lot of other writers in the industry today, and they do tell me that, Kanika, it is just a few of you.
Yeah,
It's
I just
a
have few
handful.
names.
It's just a few of you, because the real thing is that it's still the way it was, pretty much largely. So then my thing to them is that look, somebody has to start some sort of a different precedent. Somebody has to start
And when a
some
woman
sort of a
talks,
change.
it's going to be like कि
हाँ,
बहुत you have a lot of opinions, तुम बहुत बोलते हो.
See, there's a problem with everything. See, recently, a very well-known critic asked me on social media that, you're from LSE and you are questioning the critics, and you're questioning, the qualification of the critics. And my answer was that, sir, because I'm from LSE, because I've had an education, because I know how important
It is to
it
reason,
is.
to discuss, to
and also I know how important this profile is. That is why I'm questioning it. I am in this industry. I love being here, and if I feel that there is something that I can contribute in terms of
making it a better
making
space.
it a better space for my contemporaries, for my peers, why will I not? I would, and that's who I am. And also I also realized, Ankita, that it's not just about doing well and then enjoying the fruits of it in isolation, because that is not going to
It's like then one
help
film
anyone.
wonder, yeah.
It's not even about one film wonder. I'll tell you what, and I've said it many a times before, that the one thing that I've faced repeatedly when I would sit across the table and negotiate with my producers, and I would say that I want more money, or I want my placement of credit to be a certain way, what I was told was that, excuse me, firstly, who are you? And no writer before you has asked for something like this, and there is no precedence. And I would say then, and I had no logical, no logic to explain to them. Of course, in my head, the logic is that I'm the writer. I may be a nobody, but in this particular project, I'm a writer. I deserve to be credited in a certain manner.
Exactly.
I deserve to be paid in a certain manner. But yes, to be able to talk to them that there is no precedence in the industry and there is no other writer who's done it before me, I had to go out there and do it. So now, today, that's why I say when Netflix gives me a top billing, I want to talk about it. I want it to be, I want
So
to
that
be heard.
maybe other people out there can actually,
So when there's another writer who's sitting across the board and
can
saying
have
that,
the courage to go and say that,
Absolutely.
yes, it's my story.
not
and I
even
would-
the courage, it is just that, look, it's been done. There's a precedence. Now, how can you deny a precedence? That when you're sitting on a negotiating table, you're telling your producer that this writer's got it, so I want the same. So it just
Exactly.
makes it that much more easier. So I realized that, like, achieving these things is just not enough. One needs to, if I want to make a difference in an absolute manner, which is easier for the younger lot to come in, then I need to talk about it. So every time, I make it a point, even if I don't have the time, I make some time. If a journalist reaches out and says, "Ma'am, this is great, you shattered the glass
I know, and you
ceiling,"
always speak to them.
I'm available. I'm available because I want it known that there is a precedence. So it's a very strategic thing, and I do it very consciously because one also gets tired. You have to do so many films, this and that, and this is time consuming. But I feel this is my commitment to what I want to, the difference that I want to make in the working space that I work in, the industry that I work in. So that's why I like to talk about it, and I like to make sure that a very specific, undeniable precedence is set in the working space so the others can also benefit from that. When men are telling stories, obviously the women, the way the women have been portrayed, perhaps sometimes they're just like appendages to a man. The women are very subservient to the men, even in our pop culture stories. You need to stand up for the other women, and when your friends are making a casual joke or especially slut shaming someone that she slept her way through, you need to tell them to shut up, because these are small things that are going to kind of clean the environment a little bit.
I
It's
totally
a small
agree.
step, but it's an important step.